Two people, same age, same paycheck, $30,000 each sitting in savings, standing in front of the same decision. One drives away in something brand new. The other drives away in something 3 years old. Paid in full, no loan attached. 10 years later, the gap between their bank accounts will surprise almost everyone watching this video. So, which one actually came out ahead? Meet Derek and Priya, both 29, both earning around $65,000 a year. Both need a car, and both have the exact same $30,000 saved up to make it happen. Derek wants the new car feeling, that smell, that warranty, that dashboard nobody else has touched. Priya wants to never think about a car payment again. Same starting line, completely different roads. Derek walks into the dealership and finds a new car with an average sticker price close to $49,000. Because that's roughly what a new car costs in America right now, he puts down about $6,500, which lines up with what most new car buyers put down today. A little over 13%. He finances the rest, about $42,500, at an interest rate around 6.5%, which is close to the going average for new car loans right now. His loan is stretched over 6 years, which is now the norm. More than a third of new car loans go longer than that. His payment lands around $710 a month. He keeps the other $23,000 of his savings in the bank, feeling like he made the smart move. New car, manageable payment, cash still in reserve. Priya goes a different way. She finds a 3-year-old sedan, already past the steepest part of its depreciation curve, priced around $26,000. She pays for it outright. No loan, no interest, no lender. She keeps $4,000 left over as a cushion. Her monthly car payment is $0 every month, forever. Unless she chooses otherwise. For the first few months, there's no contest. Derek is driving something that turns heads. New paint, new tech, that new car smell everyone talks about. Priya is driving a perfectly fine, slightly older car that nobody notices. Derek feels like the one who's winning. He has the newer asset, the shinier thing, the payment that feels totally reasonable on his income. Priya's choice looks almost boring by comparison. Responsible, sure, but invisible. Nobody posts a photo of, "I paid cash for a used sedan." Fast forward 2 to 3 years, and the first real numbers start to show up. That brand new car Derek drove off the lot has already lost a huge chunk of its value. New vehicles typically lose around 20% of their value in the first year alone, and by year 3, Derek's car has shed roughly a third of what he paid for it. Meanwhile, he's still paying interest every single month on a loan that's larger than what the car is now worth. Priya's used car, having already survived its steepest depreciation years before she bought it, is losing value much more slowly from here, typically somewhere around 8 to 12% a year instead of that brutal first-year cliff. This is where the hidden costs of the obvious choice start piling up. First, there's the interest itself. Over that 72-month loan, Derek will pay something like $8,000 to $9,000 in interest alone on top of the price of the car. Second, there's insurance. Lenders require full coverage on a financed car, comprehensive and collision, which almost always costs more than the coverage Priya can choose to carry on a car she owns outright. Third, there's depreciation working against him the entire time he's still paying off the loan, meaning for years, what he owes can actually be higher than what the car is worth if he sold it. A position often called being underwater. There's opportunity cost. The $23,000 Derek kept in the bank isn't growing nearly as fast as it could, while every month, $710 of his income is locked into a payment instead of building anything for him. And fifth, there's the quieter tax, a longer loan term. Because his loan runs 6 years instead of 4 or 5, he pays interest for longer on a car that's worth less for longer. By year 5 to 7, the story starts to shift. Derek has finally paid off his loan, or is close to it, and he's no longer sending $700 a month out the door. But he's paid somewhere around $8,000 to $9,000 in interest to get there, on a car that's now worth less than half of what he originally paid. Priya, on the other hand, never had that payment to begin with. If she took that same $710 a month, the exact amount Derek was sending to his lender, and instead invested it in a simple diversified index fund using the long-run historical stock market average of around 10% a year, that money starts to compound. After 6 years of contributions, even without touching a dime of it, that account is already worth somewhere in the range of $70,000. Derek has a paid-off car worth maybe $20,000. Priya has a paid-off car worth roughly half of what she paid for it, plus a growing investment account that didn't exist for Derek at all. By year 10, the picture gets more nuanced. And it's worth being fair here. Derek's car, if he kept it, has likely held on to some real advantages. Full manufacturer warranty coverage for much of that period, fewer unexpected repair bills, modern safety features, and better fuel efficiency than Priya's older car. Priya's vehicle, now well over a decade old, is out of warranty and will eventually need real maintenance money. A transmission issue, a suspension repair, something that costs real dollars. So the gap isn't as one-sided as it looks on paper. Derek avoided some maintenance headaches. Priya has to budget for hers. This is the point where, if you only looked at car value on paper, the story could almost look close again. But then the years 15 through 20 happen, and this is where compounding stops being subtle and starts being the whole story. If Priya kept that same investment untouched and let it ride at that same historical average return, the $70,000 she had after 6 years grows into something in the range of $250,000 to $300,000 by the 20-year mark. Not because she added more money, but because money left alone at those kinds of returns roughly doubles every 7 to 8 years. Derek, meanwhile, financed a second and probably a third car in that same 20-year window, each time facing a similar interest bill, a similar depreciation curve, and a similar chunk of income committed to a payment instead of an investment. So here's the final side-by-side. Derek. Total interest paid across 2 decades of new car loans, likely in the range of $15,000 to $20,000 or more, cars that are worth a fraction of what he paid the moment he drives them home, and a bank account that never got the chance to compound because the money was going somewhere else every month. Priya, a used car bought debt-free that cost far less to begin with, avoided the worst of the depreciation curve, and freed up hundreds of dollars a month that, left alone in the market, turned into a 6-figure sum simply by not being spent on interest. Now, to be fair to Priya's approach, it isn't risk-free either. The stock market doesn't move in a straight line. That 10% average includes years where the market drops 20 or 30%. And if she'd needed that money during a downturn, the story looks very different. There's also no shiny new object to enjoy along the way, no warranty safety net, and a real psychological cost to driving an older car while others drive something new. That's not nothing. Buying used and investing, the difference takes discipline that's much easier to talk about than to actually do for 20 straight years. So the real lesson here isn't new cars are bad or used cars always win. It's that a car payment is never just a car payment. It's interest, insurance, depreciation, and the opportunity cost of money that could have been growing somewhere else instead. The real question isn't which choice is better in general. It's what you're actually willing to trade, comfort now or compounding later. So which one would you have chosen at 29? And are you sure that's still the choice you'd make today?